Okay, so you've shared Psalm 5 with us from the New Living Translation, and we're going to kind of dive into the heart of this ancient prayer. What are some of the core feelings and ideas expressed here from the very beginning to that hopeful close?
I think what's fascinating about Psalm 5, even in its brevity, is how it lays bare the raw emotions of someone seeking divine help.
Hmm.
It's a window into a very personal conversation.
Yeah, it's really intimate, isn't it?
Yeah.
So let's just jump right in at the beginning. Verses 1 to 3 are like this direct cry to God. "O Lord, hear me as I pray. Pay attention to my groaning. Listen to my cry for help, my King and my God. For I pray to no one but you. Listen to my voice in the morning, Lord. Each morning I bring my request to you and wait expectantly." I mean, just reading it, you feel that sense of urgency.
Oh, absolutely. And that repetition, of hear and listen, it's not just about being heard, right? It conveys this deep need for acknowledgement, I think.
Yeah.
And then there's the mention of morning prayer, which suggests it's a deliberate practice, a way of setting the tone for the day with this appeal to God.
Hmm. Very interesting. And then that sense of urgency kind of bumps up against how God is being described. Just a few verses later, in verses 4 through 6, it says, "O God, you take no pleasure in wickedness. You cannot tolerate the sins of the wicked. Therefore the proud may not stand in your presence. For you hate all who do evil. You'll destroy those who tell lies. The Lord detests murderers and deceivers." It's a very strong statement, isn't it, about good and evil?
It is, and I think this stark contrast likely reflects the speaker's own, experience with injustice. By emphasizing God's intolerance for wrongdoing, the psalmist is perhaps expressing a desire for moral order in the world, this belief that, ultimately evil will be judged.
That makes sense. And then almost right after that, the whole tone shifts in verses 7 and 12. "Because of your unfailing love, I can enter your house. I will worship at your temple with deepest awe." And then at the very end, "For you bless the godly, O Lord. You surround them with your shield of love." It's quite a turn.
Absolutely. After acknowledging God's justice, the focus shifts to God's unfailing love as that basis for a relationship.
Mm.
And this tension between divine justice and divine love is a central theme in, so many spiritual traditions.
Yeah.
And that image of a shield of love, that's a powerful image, right? It offers this sense of protection and favor.
Very powerful.
Yeah.
And then following all of that in verses 8 through 10, things get a little bit more specific. The speaker starts talking about their troubles. "Lead me in the right path, O Lord, or my enemies will conquer me. Make your way plain for me to follow. My enemies cannot speak a truthful word. Their deepest desire is to destroy others. Drive them away because of their many sins, for they have rebelled against you." So what do you make of this plea for guidance when it seems like there's opposition all around?
Well, I think it highlights this feeling of vulnerability and the need for divine intervention and, in practical real world challenges, right? And the description of the enemies as deceitful, I think that underscores the speaker's sense of being threatened and the desire for justice to prevail.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a very relatable feeling, isn't it? Wanting guidance when you're facing difficult or even hostile situations.
Absolutely. And then the psalm wraps up in verse 11 with this burst of positivity. "But let all who take refuge in you rejoice. Let them sing joyful praises forever. Spread your protection over them, that all who love your name may be filled with joy." It ends on this note of hope and trust.
Yeah, it does. It provides this sense of resolution, and it suggests that despite all of the struggles mentioned earlier, that there's this ultimate source of joy and security for those who place their faith in God. It's a really powerful affirmation of hope.
Absolutely. So in essence, Psalm 5 takes you on this emotional journey, starting with an urgent cry for help, then acknowledging both God's justice and love, going into detail about these personal struggles, and then ultimately landing on this bedrock of hope and joyful trust.
Precisely. It's a testament to the enduring human need for connection, for justice and for hope in the face of all of life's difficulties.
I think that's beautifully put. And I think for us today, thinking about this ancient prayer, it makes you wonder how these themes, needing guidance, facing all those challenges and seeking comfort, how do those still resonate with us today? I mean, these words were written so long ago, and yet it feels so relevant.
Yeah.
It's definitely something to ponder, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, thank you so much for joining me today.
It's been a pleasure.
And to everyone listening, we'll catch you next time.
See you later.